Did you submerge your shoulders in the cold plunge today? Yes, sir, I did. How has Midnight been doing? Doing very well. Missed the beginning. Charles, when will you buy Command and Conquer, the enhanced edition? I played all the original ones. Is there anything new? Yeah, exactly right. You need characters that people want to cosplay as. And if you design your characters correctly, they just become part of the social milieu. Like Kratos. He's there forever, guys. He's like, if you need an archetype of a very angry, super manly guy, you take Kratos. But storytelling is a big part of humanity, and you have to be a good storyteller to be able to communicate with people, relate to people. And so game development is nice because it is sharpening the saw on good characters and good storytelling, and actually it helps every other aspect of life. So if you find that a company is very good and very adept at game development, they're probably also very good at other things as well. Baldur's Gate 2, best game ever made. For its time, yes. If you play it today, yeah. I played Legends of Valor on the Atari ST. It was brilliant back in the day. Holy moly. My lord, that's a rare one. It was brilliant back. What was your favorite part of the game? Charles, have you considered bariatric surgery for weight loss? No. That is so thoroughly against the core of who I am as a human being. I would rather die than get bariatric surgery. You have chemical bariatric surgery. I mean, you take the tirzepatide and the Ozempic or whatever these drugs are, these inhibitors, and they replicate the same effect. Have you tried Elden Ring? I've heard a lot about it. I just have not had a chance to play it. Just been so worked up. Now, here's the problem, man. If you try to back ADA with a real life asset like gold or real estate, who holds that and who controls that? Now, there is a slight variation of what you're saying that might be useful, and that is that there's this treasury of Cardano, and there's a very real discussion that has to happen with the community as the budget process begins about what to do with the treasury of Cardano. It's there, it exists, it has a huge amount of ADA in it, but you could convert that ADA and have an asset manager manage that ADA on behalf of the Cardano ecosystem and create returns that like a sovereign wealth fund would, and then reinvest those returns into Cardano. If you have 900 million at today's price of ADA, well, if we go back to the all-time high, you'd have something along the token like 4.5 billion or something like that. It's just a crazy amount of money. That's where it was last time. Actually, to be even larger now. So when you're there, those returns, if they get sovereign wealth fund standard returns like 8 to 13%, you're looking at on average like $500 million of interest on the sovereign wealth fund of Cardano to be basically spent and build up the ecosystem. So it's a very interesting community-wide conversation about what to do with the sovereign wealth of the Cardano protocol and how to handle that. And that's where the conversation of tangible assets like intellectual property, gold, real estate, these types of things, tangible and intangible assets for the protocol to acquire or for a firm to do that on behalf make some degree of sense. but there's a lot of legal innovation that has to be done to get there because there's just no legal structures that recognize the agency at the moment of a blockchain. But I can imagine that occurring in the next 3 to 5 years, and it'd be a heck of a lot of fun to get that done. Does your clinic offer Grail testing? Yeah, the cancer detection, the blood cancer detection test, Grail, we do. Are there any legal jurisdictions that allow you to enforce a trust that has no time limit? Yeah, Cayman Islands, the Cayman Star Trust. This summarized it. I need to hold the assets. No, an asset manager. But that's the thing is you can actually diversify and have them compete. Like if Goldman Sachs or others start actually managing those types of assets, they have an incentive to keep Cardano around. So that's, make some money for some people. Asset management, these things are all, they're all commoditized fields. There's millions of people around the world who do it pretty well, and it's really hard to beat the average returns. Every now and then you get good at it, but you don't want to try to deviate too much because usually you're taking enormous amounts of risk. I did not know that. The Atari ST had an offer in the box to post your picture to developers who scanned your image and had you appear on the wanted posters in the game. Yeah, so there's this gameplay mechanic that all the bars in the game eventually, for some reason, you just start appearing on wanted posters, and it's not entirely clear why or what you've done to appear. It's probably a randomly timed event. Well, that's nifty. Charles got to this late, but where's the best place for me to learn about becoming a D rep? Join Intersect and go to sancho.network. 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 And it has all the information there. Have you ever played Yvonne Online, the only notable game from an Atlantic studio? Oh, yes, I did. CCP is the studio, and yes, I did. A lot. The ice must flow. I played in Amar and had macro ice mining and got a little crazy with that. I even used auto hotkey. Nothing beats real exercise. Well, we're doing that. We're exercising. Chlorine dioxide. No thoughts on it. I mean, carbon dioxide? Chlorine dioxide, that doesn't even make sense. Chlorine can't bind with two oxygen. With chlorine, fluorine, it can only bind with one. So, with chlorine monoxide. How are things in Africa going? Very good. We got the real FICO. John O'Connor's killing it. Already lent out a few $1,000,000, getting everything all set up. Oh, like chlorine in the pool, huh? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But does it bind with two oxygen? Chlorine does? I'm trying to remember my old college chemistry. Monkey Charlie. Yeah, one PhD. Yeah, working on that. Any opinion on Verkle trees and Ethereum, vector commitments, and a Merkle tree? They've been working on that for a while, and there's a lot of downstream things you get from it. But basically, it allows you to have your cake and eat it too. So you get updatability, but then you also get concise proofs at the same time. So easy maintainability, easy aggregation, and easy updatability. Um, as with all things, the best structure are hyperproofs, and they actually were created by the Ergo community. That was Alex Chirpinoy. So yeah, if they were to get hyperproof support for Ethereum, that'd be pretty cool. I think they're making a big deal about getting these things in, and they're always pushing. But it's just an authenticated data structure, and it's a different thing. Good old Verkle tree. Buy and respect. Well, respect too. I'm going to read about chlorine dioxide. Why the seemingly sudden interest in physical health? I've always been interested. It's just the first time I've had some time to make a serious commitment about it. Guys, I have a clinic. I have access to the best people in the world to talk to get healthy. And so I certainly am going to do that. The spice must flow. What data structures would you recommend someone study if they wanted to get into blockchain development? Start with functional data structures. That's really the good way, and then learn about cryptography. Intro to Cryptography from John Katz is probably the best book, but it's a bit meaty. The Magic Moon Math Manual is pretty good from Least Authority as well. And those are two really good starting points as a developer. And as long as you learn about functional data structures, you should be fine. There's a paper from University of Illinois. It was written by Andrew Miller. Authenticated Data Structures Generically is the paper to read. And it's a superset of all these things. If you lost it all today, how would you get it back? I already ran this experiment. I was kicked out of Ethereum, guys. Remember? Broken. Came back up. Wealth is a state of mind, not a reality. And you can take a very powerful person and put them into nothing, and they'll build themselves back up. Like if you took everything from Arnold Schwarzenegger today, he'd build himself back up. He's Schwarzenegger. Just he's a machine. Do you have any pharmacists on any of your teams? Yes, we do. When Bacta tank, I think the stem cells combined with the hyperbarics are the closest thing we're going to get to a Bacta tank. What's your view on why ADA has not been relisted on all major exchanges? There were only a small group of exchanges that delisted ADA after some very unfortunate, very inaccurate statements from certain agencies. It hasn't materially impacted anything. It's just one of those things where you look at it on a case by case basis, and traditionally the Cardano Foundation manages the exchange relationships. But I don't think anybody's hurting for liquidity at the moment in the Cardano ecosystem. I think the bigger question is, how do Cardano native assets get liquidity and get listed? It's about time that they start getting equal consideration with ADA. And it wasn't eToro globally. eToro still trades ADA. It was eToro just on the US side. All right, one more, and then I'm going to clip it. This is a good one to end it on. Uncle Charlie, did you hear about that? Stoner Big Joe the Don from Cardano Stoners Club became king of SanchoNet. What do you think of that? I think we need to make some major governance overhauls and improvements if this is the end result. But anyway, congratulations, Your Majesty, Big Joe the Don, for becoming king. At least you're a king we can all get behind for the magical land of Sancho. We're real excited about that. Just be careful about regicide. It happens from time to time. All right. Good AMA with everybody. Sorry that these aren't as frequent as they used to be. It's just been really busy times. And I will see you guys soon over the webs. Cheers.